Are you in the market for gaming mechanical keyboards? Well, there's a new kid in the block right now that offers you two very impressive looking keyboards that are quite easy on your pockets and offer features that might just grab your attention. Ladies and gents, let me present to you the Sentry and the Striker, the mid-range mechanical keyboard duo from a company called Aeon Gaming that are mostly targeted towards the gaming community. The Sentry has a more compact 65% form factor with 67 keys in total, while the Striker offers you with a 75% form factor, which, according to me, is more suitable for daily use because you get a lot more keys to work with, including the function row. Alright, now before we talk about the rest of the features, I just wanted to say that both these keyboards are up for a giveaway. So if you're interested in getting your hands on any of these keyboards absolutely free of charge, you should definitely follow me on my social media handles, which are down below, and get to know more about the giveaway and probably win the keyboards altogether. Alright, now back to the video. Alright, so coming back to the Sentry and the Striker, both of these are built out of ABS plastic and they do have a decent amount of heft to them, especially the Striker. The designs are also quite minimal, which make them perfect for your desk setups. Now in terms of sheer robustness and rigidity, the Striker did feel a lot more premium to me, and it also has a few tricks up its sleeve that makes it feel a lot more premium than what you're actually paying for it. But I'll get to that in the later part of this video. Now both these keyboards do come with two of my most favorite features. Number one being good and bright RGB lighting, and number two the volume knob onto the right. The knob does feel quite notchy and provides you with good tactile feedback. Aside from that, these keyboards are also fully hot swappable, meaning you can swap out the switches with any 3 or 5 pin switches to your liking. Cherry, Kailh, Gaterons, you name it. Now in terms of RGB, I'm sure you will have no problem at all because first of all, the metal plate over the PCB is white to allow more light to bounce off to your keycaps, and secondly, these keyboards come with pudding style double shot PVD keycaps by default, which is quite impressive. Plus you also get a bunch of these extra keycaps should you need to swap them out at any point in the future. Now pudding keycaps are hands down the best when it comes to an immersive RGB experience on your keyboards, and I've honestly never seen these bundled with any mechanical keyboard before, and now that you're getting these kind of keycaps directly from the factory is definitely something worth mentioning here. So kudos to Aeon Gaming for that. Now the RGB of these keyboards can be controlled only through the onboard firmware, which in my opinion is more than enough. However, if you do want to take control of the RGB or assign macros, Aeon Gaming said that they are working on a software for these keyboards, so be assured you will be covered in that aspect in the future. Another thing to note here is that these keyboards do support both Windows and Mac. However, since you do not get Mac specific keycaps, I'd lean you towards getting these keyboards only if you have a Windows PC. Now in terms of connectivity, these are wired only keyboards. You do not get wireless options as of right now, but you do get detachable Type-C cables with each of them. Or you may wish to connect your keyboards using custom coiled cables like this one that I got from Cable Sutra. Now both these keyboards come with either red or brown mechanical switches. These are Content or KTT branded switches, which I've personally never heard of, but to be honest, they felt very close to Gaterons in terms of typing experience. And the brown switches are definitely what I'd personally suggest for gaming. The ergonomic design of the keyboards was also quite decent, and I had a great time using them without the standoffs. But a good thing here is that you do get 2 levels of height adjustment should you want to use them at some point. The keyboards do also come with functionalities like N-key rollover and anti-ghosting, which are quite essential for them to be termed as gaming keyboards. Now both the Striker and the Sentry come with onboard shortcuts for various actions on your computer like brightness and media controls. However, these are not labeled on the keycaps and you have to refer to the included manual if you forget some of the functions. So my suggestion would be to keep this one handy. Okay, so now let's talk about the most important aspect for every mechanical keyboard out there: the typing experience. And here's where you'll start noticing a lot more differences between these two keyboards. Let me explain. Now some of you might say, well, it's all because of the switches, right? Well, yeah, it is to some extent, but these two keyboards are also quite different from the way these are constructed from the inside. As Sunny from Hardware Mana has pointed out in his video, that the Sentry has a more conventional build with a single foam layer for padding and sound absorption, while the Striker is a gasket-mounted keyboard having dual silicone pads within which the PCB is suspended like a sandwich. Now this definitely gives the Striker a much more premium edge in terms of the build quality and kind of makes the Sentry run for its money. And I assure you, the Striker does feel and sound much more better during typing than the Sentry for this very reason. Now apart from this, both of these keyboards have plate mounted stabilizers which are quite decent at this price point, and they also come slightly lubed from the factory. So here's a quick sound test for both of these keyboards. Alright, so here are my final thoughts with these two keyboards. Now first of all, the features that these two keyboards offer are quite good, and also the prices that these two come at felt pretty decent to me. The Sentry comes at a price point of 5,999 Indian rupees or $75 US, and for 500 rupees more or $5 extra, you get the Striker. Now if I were you, I'd choose the Striker any day over the Sentry because first of all, its build quality is much more superior, and the second thing is the 75% form factor, which to me at least is the form factor to go for as a daily driver keyboard. But if you absolutely have to get the Sentry, keep an eye out for price drops over at Stax KB. If this thing comes around the price point of 4,500 to 5,000 Indian rupees, it's a great keyboard to consider at that price point. But as of right now, you're much better off considering other options at this price point. Alright, so that was pretty much it, and I do hope you guys found the video useful or at least entertaining in some aspect. So I'd really appreciate if you could hit that like button to make me smile even more, and yeah, a sub to the channel would always mean the world to me. I'll talk to you guys in my next video, and thank you so much for watching.